Over these years, I've learned this secret for my own lashes that I hope will help you if you have straight eyelashes is Hi everyone, I'm Rosanna. I am into anything luxury related or just fashion in general. Throw in some fitness in there, makeup, and I am all set to go. I decided to do a little bit more YouTube recently, honestly, because my partner is sick of me talking about things that he does not get. But more importantly, I want to share what I felt about certain brands, luxury, and makeup. So today specifically, we're going to do a little bit more makeup orientated. So during the pandemic, I have fallen in love with Natasha Denona. I am going to share her Zendo palette today. I'm going to do a little quick makeup of what I do personally. I do a really simple makeup. Oh, I just forgot to prep my skin. So this is just what I'm using right now. I've been using it. I've been using it for the last. So this is just what I'm using right now for just like a sunscreen that I wear daily. It's a Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Waterlight, SPF 60. So I wear this no matter what, no matter if it's cloudy, sunny, whatever. Usually take about this much, and I just pat it all over my face. And I don't forget the neck. I put a little bit on the back of my hands, and this is how much I put. I have a collection of Hourglass, Sephora, and MAC brushes. I've fallen in love with Hourglass lately, but I think you can really use anything. I don't really plan to buy much more because I'm not a makeup influencer, but I do love makeup and I just can't afford the price point if I have to buy every single brand. But right now I'm using this one, Hourglass. This is the number 6. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to do a similar look to what I did yesterday. So I'm going to dab Relief, which is this matte shade here, cream to powder shade. I'm going to start in the outer corners here. Just kind of blending that in to the inner eye. I'm kind of putting this all over the lid, but focusing it on the outer edges in my outer crease. But I actually, maybe it's a little bit rare, but I don't put on any foundation. I don't have like the best skin. Actually, you can see the little spots here right now. And I think it's like accentuated with the camera, but I think it's fine. I think I like seeing my real skin texture, and I've tried a couple of foundations. Maybe I don't try on the right ones, but they make my skin look so cakey. And I just don't feel like a need for it. Like I see girls wear foundation all the time, and although maybe it looks beautiful in camera, beautiful on photos, but when at the end of the day, or when you see it again, it just looks so much texture. It's like very, I mean, that's where the term cake face came by, right? But also it's not my thing. I don't think it'll ever be my thing. I mean, I am trying to get like a long wear foundation from Estee Lauder just to try it out, but anyways, I'm not there yet. So there's that. So I just put on an all over shadow primarily on the outer corner. I'm gonna use actually a Sephora brush now. So I'm using the Sephora Pro Small Shadow in 15. I'm gonna pick up Vigor, which is this darker red cream to powder shade here. You can see how nicely it blends. I'm gonna start off in my outer crease. So I'm just dabbing that in. This is a smaller, thinner brush. So honestly, you don't need to buy these exact brushes at all. Just use something that's a little bit more tighter and the brushes are stiffer. I never really got when like makeup artists name a bunch of brushes, like why? I don't understand. But I use this kind of brush, so it's like it goes out and then tapers in. So this like fluffy type of brush for all over colors. And I use, you can see that difference. So this was the first one I used, this one's the second. For like to just intensify the color in one area without getting it everywhere. So I'm literally just trying to get it in that outer crease where my eyes naturally crease. So you can find it when you kind of look down and then you'll see that your crease, like mine is like right there, right above. So I'm gonna put the shadows at that crease and I'm gonna put it at the lash line here. So I'm putting it here and I'm gonna put it here as well. So I'm just gonna do the third of my eye, that's the outer third of my eye by the lash line. I usually just use the same couple of brushes. I don't switch, like who needs to have 10 brushes that they carry around. So I'm going to use that number 6 hourglass one again. I'm going to dip it into Tranquil, which is this color here. It's a metallic. I'm just going to dab a little bit, so don't dab too much. And I'm going to just gradient those two colors that I just placed on. So I'm just putting this metallic right on the top, so closer to my eyebrow, my brow bone. Beautiful. So I'm going to go back in with my Sephora 15 into Vigor. That's a dark red cream powder. Just to bring back any color depth. I'm going to use the same brush. Now I'm going to drag it along my crease line just slightly with what's left on the brush. I'm not going to add too much. I am going for a little bit more out there compared to like an everyday look, but I really like being extra anyways. And her formulas are really great if you want to use your fingers. That's what Natasha recommends, just so you have like the best pigmentation. So I'm going to put my finger into Tranquil again. So we just use that shade just to gradient out the darker shades, but I'm putting it on my finger and you can see that. Oh, the camera's not very good. But it picks up quite a lot. It feels so soft on your finger. It's just like a pillow. So I'm going to put this in the center of my lid. Just the center. Going on top of the darker shade, just a touch. Okay. And I'm going to use that same finger because I'm a little lazy. And I'm going to put it into Yama. So Yama's a duochrome. So you can see in the shade here that it's like this peachy color. But when I swatch it, you can see that it has a little bit of a green tone to it. It's really pretty. And I'm actually just swatching this on top of the Tranquil squash. So I'm using the same finger. And I'm putting this in the 1/3 of my eye, the inner 1/3. And again, I'm going to just layer that towards the center lid on top, just patting it gently, blending the two shadows beautifully together. I'm using the smallest finger possible that I can control, my ring finger. And we're pretty much almost done. I'm going to get that Sephora Pro 15 again, and I'm going to dip it into, I don't want it to be too intense looking at this. I'm going to dip it into Calm here, and I'm going to put a little bit in my 1/3 of my outer eye. I'm going to go into one of the lighter colors, maybe in Relief here, the lighter cream to powder shade, and just dip it in the center of my bottom lash line. And I'm gonna blend that out gently. I would use a different brush here actually, so how about I do that? I'm gonna use another Hourglass. This is a number 9. It has like a stubby top here. This is just to blend out my outer lash line. This brush is clean, so it doesn't have any more powder on there. I don't want it to be too intense, so I'm just going underneath the shadow so I can soften it up. And I'm doing on both sides, obviously. Oh, again, I keep the packaging for this. So I'm gonna use this blush today. It's a Natasha Denona Bloom brush. I think that these are the smaller, not sample, but like the smaller sizes you can get for her blushes. I find they go a long way. I don't actually own her full size ones. Oh, these ones kind of mini. So this is the packaging inside. Beautiful as always. I love the packaging. There's a full size mirror and then the blush compact. So I've actually used this quite a few times. I'm gonna go and use, I know this is a random all over the place, and I'm gonna use a MAC brush here. This is from a holiday set from a couple of years ago, but I actually got this from, I think, HomeSense. It says it's the 168 SE. I really like how this is a tapered fluffy brush. This is super pigmented, so I actually just dab again for good luck. And I do it underneath my cheekbones here. You can see how heavy that went on for like the 3 dabs of blushes. But I actually really like that it's so pigmented. I personally like something a little bit more out there. And you can just blend it out really easily, but I would not pick up too much at all. I'm gonna reuse the same brush. I know, crazy, right? And I'm going to dip into my favorite Holy Grail highlighter, which I know is now discontinued, but I know they brought it back. So this is the Becca Highlighter in Opal. This is the mini size, but I've had this mini size for so many years. Geez, I think I've been using it for 3 years. I've definitely hit pan on it now. This is how much I really like it. So you can see how much is left. I just find this blends into my skin tone so well. I was so devastated when Becca was, they went bankrupt and they were removed from, like, the brand itself just went bankrupt and the brand was removed from Sephora. I was so sad about that. And I was thinking about like stocking up on another Becca Opal highlighter, but I do have so many. And then I recently saw that they brought Becca back as like a collab with Urban Decay. So good news, we can still buy these and it's back in stock into Sephora, but it's just like branded slightly differently, but I'm happy it's back. I did see some reviews reading the Sephora website that the formula isn't quite the same, but I haven't tried it for myself, and I would definitely be interested in trying it after I finish this entire pot off. I mean, it took me like 3 years to get to this place. But of course I'm using like different highlighters as well. So I think it might be like another year at least until I get to try it out. I don't want to waste too much and just buy excess of everything, which I kind of do, but I try not my best. So I'm using the same brush. And I'm just brushing it on the highlight of my cheeks. I realize it looks beautiful sometimes when I'm indoors and then I go out and I'm like, oh my god, my face is so shiny. And I put it at my brow bone, but instead of using a different brush like a normal person, I take the same blush brush and I put my finger at the top of the hairs, my thumb and my middle finger, and I kind of squeeze it so it's like a really narrow, tighter brush, and I use that and I just put it on my brow bone. So being Asian, my eyelashes don't naturally have a curl in them. I have to really spend a lot of time curling it. Right now, my favorite mascara that I've used actually for many years, I just switch it up every so often, is the Maybelline Colossal Big Shot. This time I got a waterproof version. That was actually by accident. I didn't mean to buy the waterproof variation of it, but I did, and I kind of love it. So over these years, I've learned this secret for my own lashes that I hope will help you if you have straight eyelashes is after I apply my first or any coat of mascara, which I will finish up in a second, I hold my eyelashes until it dries. This is a new favorite that I've been using. I mentioned it in a different video too. The Lip Glow Oil by Dior. Mine is in Cherry, and oh my god, it is just amazing. You can see, like, this is my lip with nothing on it, and it makes just a beautiful subtle difference. I love the brush. It's just so fat and soft. And I kind of overline it slightly, even with the oil. It's just a little bit more shimmer. And there we have it. This is the final look. Anyways, yeah, it's amazing. So Natasha Denona for shadows. Natasha for president. Okay, so for my final thoughts, I mean, I really wanted to make this video because I wanted to use the Natasha Denona Zendo palette on this video. And I want to say that if you were looking for a midi size palette, I mean, the minis, the small 5-pan minis are the way to go if you just want to try out her shadows. But if you have one or two, or you just want to dive right in, I think the Zendo, go for the Zendo. She has a collection of these out in Sephora and stores, or you can buy it from her website. She sometimes has sales that are a little bit better than Sephora, but I'm from Canada and she ships from the US. So, I mean, that's great if you're in the US, but there is like custom fees when you have to ship things over from US to Canada. So I don't necessarily do that. I just buy mine straight from Sephora just to make my life easier. But this has a really good array of colors. I think if you don't own anything from her and you want to have a midi palette, this is really, really good. I think all these pink tones are really good just for a neutral look. And if you want to make it more intense, just add in a little bit more of that darker shade and it just gives you more of like a glam look. And I think I really like how she has a little bit of the blues. This is almost like a turquoisey cream to powder shade that is different. It almost gives you like a slight rainbow array of colors. I honestly think red tones and gold tones in the last few years in the makeup world has been really popular. I think it's just because it looks really good on your skin tone for almost, I want to say any skin tone. Like these reddish, goldish, brownish colors, they just look so good because it's like the base of our skin tones are like red and yellow. But if you're like an olive based skin tone, maybe the blues might look really good on you. But yeah, I think her formula is really great. I've only used her formulas for about a year. But I would say none of her palettes disappointed me. They all worked just as good. It's just like how, like all the colors performed for me. It's more for like, if you want, how intense do you want it to be? All the colors, all her formulas really perform and really blend beautifully for me. I love the dual. One thing I would say is actually I love her dual chromes. Like I used Yama here earlier on my lid. It was the inner corner shade where it was like pink in the palette, but it has a little bit of a green shift to it. I would love to find a palette, or I would love for her to launch a palette one day that is a duochrome palette. So like a palette with almost every color as a duochrome. I would totally love that. I find in all her palettes, there's only like 1 duochrome, 2 duochrome shades out of the entire palette. And those are always my favorite shades, a favorite formula. I mean, the metallics and everything, they're beautiful, but the duochrome just like just gets me. They're the reason why I usually get palettes, is because of that duochrome color. So, but I love all her other shades, and honestly, you can't, I mean, you could, but I wouldn't create an eye look with just duochrome. So, I mean, you need to have the powders and metallics, but duochromes are the crowd stoppers. So overall, would I recommend this 67 Canadian dollar palette? Maybe it's around 40 something, 50 bucks USD. Like, I totally would. Just, what are you waiting for? Just try one of her formulas. I've been literally telling everyone, Natasha Denona, my love. I mean, I've tried other brands, but like her formulas and her packaging, I just love how like beautiful and luxe they look. They're just so nice. It feels hefty. So good. Even her mini palettes, they are in like a plastic encasing. It just looks nice, even if it's a small mini palette. Anyways, I feel like I rambled enough. Thank you so much for watching me share this, and I will share more later.